What is going on, guys? We are back at it again with another episode of True Capacity Talks. And today we have someone that I've met in real life one time down in the lovely Orlando, Florida. Sandy Belmontez, also known as Sandy Cheeks, to everyone that is in and around Gym Launch. What is going on, my friend?
Hey, how are you? And it's actually a childhood nickname too, so not just
Really?
lunch. Yeah, yeah.
Wow. So
So I
not just
don't
your
know how
adult life.
I don't know how Ari came up with that, but I did karate growing up or kung fu. So everyone's like, "Oh my God, you're Sandy Cheeks from SpongeBob." So that's where that childhood nickname came up.
That's exactly the first thing that I thought when I heard it the first time when he said it on
From
a
Ari.
daily call. Yeah. When he said it, I was like, oh, that's exactly where that's from.
Yeah,
SpongeBob.
exactly.
Well, dope.
Uh,
Well, I appreciate you being here. I kind of want to dive into any and everything, right? From your
yeah.
transition into the gym world to where you're looking at in the future and whatnot. So I want to jump right in. Now, I'm curious, right? This all started when you were a medical assistant, right? 3 years medical assistant. You get in with a group of partners, and then you inevitably are in the position you're in now, where you have your own gym. Has there been any time across this length of you doing the gym thing with one percenter or with your own gig where you thought about trying to go back to med school?
It's crossed my mind. I'm not gonna lie. I have friends that are now graduating and they're now physicians. So they're now doctors 4 years out and practicing all over the nation. So not gonna lie that it has crossed my mind. But to say that I would actually go back is actually a conversation that I had like a couple of days ago with a close friend. I don't think I would. Just because of one main thing is debt. They're all in the ones my physician friends that I'll talk to are well 250 in debt.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, all right, well, there's one thing. And then the other thing is really just the impact that I'm making now. Because my main thing of going into medicine was really just the preventative care of it when it came to the Hispanic population. So like diabetes, high cholesterol, so more educational and preventative that way. So if I was going to be a physician, it'd be more like a PCP or family med. So no like hotshot neurosurgeon, doctor, things like that. So with that, again, money is a factor, but I feel like I'm actually preventing all those things now. Like actually getting in front of like the fitness, the nutrition, and actually being able to keep them accountable. Because you go to the doctor's office now and they're like, well, you should be taking these meds and diet and exercise. But they're not able to like actually stay on top of you, keep you accountable. Whereas like now that's my main job to actually do those things and then actually see that come to
Yeah.
fruition and we get them off the meds. Just
Do you
create a
think that,
multiple lifestyle.
yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, lifestyle over everything, habits stacking over everything. So
Yep.
do you think that even if you were in a position where you had an MD at the end of your name or a DO at the end of your name, that you would
Or
actually be doing preventative work though?
like in family medicine,
Yeah.
bless you. Um, no, I think I'm more reactive at that point when I'm actually in as a physician, as a doctor in
Mhm.
family medicine, I would be more reactive. So they're already coming into me, especially because I look at my family. Like my family was the main driving force. My grandpa had diabetes, high cholesterol, and then passed away during COVID, just because of those comorbidities. So then, like, that's one thing. And then, like, all of those things run in the family were just overweight, not having the good habits that we need. So it's like, all right, they were the main driving force for me going into the medical field. So they hated the doctors. They didn't go unless they were like dying. And then it's like, all right, well, once you see me and I'm actually seeing you and trying to treat you, it's reactive at that point. How much time do we have to actually correct those things? So I think it's pretty cool that I'm actually on the front line of it and can help you before any of those things happen, or at least on the early stages of it.
Facts. Since your transition from medical assistant over into preventative care with lifestyle changes, nutrition, fitness, in
Right.
person, online, etc., how has your family's relationship with their health changed?
Okay, so this is awesome because it took me a good 10 years of just constant reminders of like, hey guys, eat right, let's go walking, like let's exercise, let's move, just go out for a walk or a bike ride. Because like growing up, we were pretty active, but then once like Andy and I, my brother became teenagers, growing up, life happens. Everyone kind of did their own thing, and we were became much more sedentary. So like trying to get my parents in here was like the main thing. I was like, all right, you guys are going down the same exact line that your parents did,
Mhm.
and let's try to prevent that because like I can't lose you guys earlier than needed. Like I still want a family and kids. Like you guys need to be here for my grandkids, regardless. So it's like all of those things. So my dad just came in. He's been training for like 2 months. So then he's coming in here doing semi-private training with one of my coaches. And then my mom has been doing the group training. So she's been loving it. And they were both very hesitant on actually taking that first step. And this is what I do for a living. I was like, guys, like, I can definitely help you like set up the game plan, set up nutrition, come in, work out 3 times a week. It's just that, set that time aside, because they have the same excuses as everyone else. Mm-hmm. I'm too busy. I don't have the time. Finance isn't a thing, but all those things. So I was like, all right, they came in, they're loving it, loving the process, and actually seeing the results. And we actually just had my cousin sign up earlier last week. So I feel like I'm finally making a difference in that realm as well.
Why do you think that there was so much resistance when their own daughter, who was living, eating, sleeping, and breathing positive change in people's life? But I mean, if you were literally doing that since at minimum 2021, even and maybe even when you were a medical assistant before you jumped into actually being a practitioner in health and wellness on this side, like, why is there so much resistance from your family specifically?
Yeah. So from my parents specifically was timing. So they're running their own company, doing their own thing. But it's like, we don't have the time to set apart that hour and come in. And they thought they'd have to come in and spend countless amounts of hours or put much more effort in. Whereas they didn't know exactly what to do, even though I laid out the game plan. But with that, I think it was one more just time and then effort, like how much they really needed to put in to see the results, which I think a lot more people just think it's going to take way more effort because they've tried every which way in the past. But if they're not doing the right things, then again, they won't see the results that they want. So really just giving them the game plan that they want, that they need, and then making it effective for them. So now they're in here 3 times a week for an hour at a time, and then I just watch their nutrition, see how that goes, and it's been going well.
Heck yeah. Do you think that it required you to take yourself out of the practitioner one-on-one or one-on-many with them specifically for them to actually come in and feel more comfortable? Like, hey, my daughter's not here judging me. My daughter's not here writing this. My daughter's not watching me while I'm doing this. Do you think there was less stress with having having one of your coaches be the primary interactor with them?
So I think it was for my dad. Yes, 100%. Mm-hmm. It's his coach is a male. So I think they were able to connect that way. But from my mom, it was really just that like gym insecurity of like, what are they going to think when I'm there? What if I don't know what I'm doing? So I think the group setting, again, just fits well with that. Because like it's literally all women in the morning. So it's like you just in here, work out, do your thing. Everyone's on the same page. Whereas my dad, yes, we did have that dynamic. And now with the male coach, he's like, all right, we're good. We're golden.
Okay, that's solid. Yeah, I can't still get my mom, my sisters, their husbands, or anyone to move that ass. Outside of, I mean, my mom is never not going, but it's like, if I give, and I have to both my sisters and their husbands, the exact things that we give all of our challengers, the exact things that we give everyone VIP, the exact things that all my in-person peeps have, and what do? Diddly squat. Like literally the exact same resources and more access to me. And you get less results.
Exactly. Yeah. So, it took me 10 years to get them in here. So it's like, all right, it finally happened. And I think it's just that constant reminder. And then just keep living, breathing your truth. And hopefully they come around and see that.
Yeah. No, I think that's it's consistency over everything, right? Even with your family there. I kind of want to go back to one percenter. I know that it's maybe not the first topic that you want to talk about, but I think it is important to revisit the past and how you got to even where you're at. Can you talk about how you grew membership from 42 to 120?
Yeah. Consistency, hell of a lot of it. So with that, we started July of 2021. We moved into the building that was 8,000 square feet from 800 square feet. So square footage, phenomenal. It was the best. And then we got top of the line equipment. So we thought that people would come in and we're in a super nice plaza. And I was like, all right, people are just going to come, referrals are going to flow, but it was not the case. So we tried to do it ourselves for 3 months, and that's where we started at 42 members. And then we got gym lunch. So that's where we had our backs up against the wall because that was in October when we started gym lunch, 2021. In the next upcoming 3 months, or in January 2022, we were going to have $12,000 due in rent alone. With the 42 members, we were only pulling in $8,000. So it's like, all right, everything that we're making is going to go to rent alone. So it's like, all right, what are we going to do? Because what we're doing isn't working. So an ad came up, Alex, on the internet, on Instagram, saw that. And we started implementing the things that we needed to. So we first, obviously still skeptical, but we implemented the fast cash play, made 19K on that. And then the supplement challenge, made 5K in profit in that. And so that kind of gave us the cushion like through the holidays and actually like set money aside for rent. But then after that, I mean, we just implemented the things that we needed to, like the 5% retention, because we were losing members just as fast as we were getting them. We were not running ads before gym launch. We thought we could do organic reach and DMs and Instagram and just flyers and things like that. And it helped, but it wasn't everything. So we started running $100 a day on Facebook and Instagram, and then doing the 6 weeks free challenge with that. So we started getting more people, and then we each had our roles. So there was 4 partners, and I was pretty much business operation, knowing my numbers, keeping everyone in line. And then JJ he was member retention. He loved the clients, was really good with them and coaching. So he did that. And then CJ was nutritionist, nutrition check-ins, sales with like nutrition and supplements. And then Lex was like videography, social media, anything media side. So we all had our like individual roles, and then we had a team from there. So when we first started, we had 7 coaches on top of our 4. Yeah, it was insane. So that's
a dense team. That is so dense. That is so many people for that small of a business. That is too many people.
I know, and they were all really close friends. So that's where part of the story comes into play. So we literally just implemented everything that we needed to. We started running ads, we were getting more people in the door, and then CJ and I started selling. So we were getting a lot more consistent with the influx of people. Then we started focusing on the 5% retention and keeping members there. And then Lex also ran more of like a sports performance with soccer. So we were getting more leads and kids and youth through that avenue as well. And then we started just implementing those things, and we slowly started growing, internal plays, things like that. The red carpet challenge, and then just implemented those things to eventually get to 120 and then 40K in profit or in revenue. But then that's where we still wanted to grow, because we were barely making ends meet. Like even though we were pulling in that much money throughout the month, like expenses were just as high. So like us as owners, we're barely making anything on a monthly basis. So it's like, all right, well, what are we going to change? What are we going to do? Because we were implementing everything that we needed to, but I would be on like the calls, and I was like, all right, these guys are making like 40K in profit alone per month. Like, what are we not doing that we need to implement? So the next thing was like going to an IC Live event. And then that's where I presented to my business partners, and I was like, hey guys, I'm going to go to this meeting. You guys are more than welcome to come. But they always resisted the gym launch model, just because even through like growing the business, they felt like it was not the right thing to do, or they want to do it themselves. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go, because I don't want to keep living this way. I was working 120 plus hours, like a week there. And then everyone was different, but we were all getting equal pay. And I was like, guys, this isn't okay. This isn't fair. I need to make sure that because at that time I still had every intention of going back to med school, or at least PA school. And so I was like, I can't live like this and still study and prepare for like the application process. Where that's like a year out. And if I'm not applying now, then I have to wait even longer to get to med school, PA school, things like that. So then I went to IC Live by myself and then got the game plan from there. But yeah, I mean, the actual growth process, there are a lot of growing pains. We had 7 employees. And then that's like teaching them the roles of like what to do, changing the model, like all of those things, doing the price increase and like letting members know for like OG members, things like that. So a lot of growing pains, definitely worth it. A lot of long nights, a lot of tries, laughs, all those things. Definitely a good journey to be on. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that.
Goodness. So a lot of trials and tribulations, it sounds. But at that time when you started that, you jumped in, like, were they a pre-existing gym and then you jumped in? Or did y'all start it all together?
No. So they were a pre-existing gym actually in the building that I'm in right now. So in this building, they were upstairs, about 800 square feet, and I had met them and got to know them for about like 3-4 months.
And this is while you're in MA?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. While I'm a medical assistant. Yep. So while I'm a medical assistant, I met them, got to know them, was training with them for about 3-4 months. And then they came up with like a business plan. They just needed capital and a business operations, because they had 30 members, were barely pulling in anything. And then at the time, the other building came into play. So a lot of different factors. But with that, I was like, all right, well, if this is the route that I want to go, because I was already applying for medical school for a couple of years now. So I was like, all right, this is how I can really make a difference, make an impact, and do more of the preventative care of it. So then that's where I decided to become business partners. So then we were all equal, 25% business partners. And that's where we moved over. So they were pre-existing. They've been doing it for like a year before me. Then we came in March and then got that building in July of 2021.
Okay. And when you came in as a partner, did you completely quit MA? 100%?
Yep.
Just like cold turkey, just was like, oh, peace.
Once I signed the paperwork, yeah. So like I had known them for 3 to 4 months, but once I signed the paperwork to be in with them, yeah, I went
just like, all right, see ya.
Yeah.
What kind of office were you working in before?
It was a chronic pain and cancer center. So a lot of either people that were in some type of pain, chronic lower back pain, all those things, or end of life cancer treatment, things like that.
Got it. So a lot of palliative care. And so that actually makes way more sense why you wanted to go hyper preventative, because you were literally like, this is just quality of life at this point. Like these people are radiation, chemo, more surgeries, more this, more that,
exactly.
More morphine, more other things. I mean, I watched my dad go through, kind of end of life with cancer. Very similarly, now we did hospice in-house, so it's like a little bit different, but same kind of thing. It's like, hey, we're keeping him comfortable for the last 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, and and that's kind of it. And when he falls, and it's over. Like definitely a different kind of medicine. Same reason why my sister, she was a pediatric hemonc nurse. She got out of it and went to labor and delivery.
I know way. Yep, completely opposite side of the spectrum.
She said, no more. I can't watch kids die anymore. Cannot do it.
It's a lot. So really just seeing that, and then the quality of life, and knowing that you can have some part of it, and really just preventing that, but you have to start on the other side. So, yeah.
Well, let's wind back to so you're at one percenter, right? You'll get in gym launch. There's IC Live happens. You represent it. They're like, heck no, we're not doing this crap. So then what happens from there?
Okay, so went to IC Live. They gave me 2 options.
Oh, also, time out. Any acronym the first time we say it, give me the full name for people that are not in this world, because that's the only critique that I ever get on these. People are like, oh, what is PD and DO and MD and so
got it. Okay.
IC. What is IC?
Okay, so the Inner Circle Live is with Gym Launch, and it's an event that they hold. And this event is 5 gym owners, and these gym owners are in this conference room with the leads of Gym Launch. And it's like the owner, the co-owner, business operations, like everyone that is the top at Gym Launch, and they dissect your business. So you have to know all your numbers by the time you're there at the meeting and present it to them. So it's a room of 5 owners. I get to go second, but the person before me, which is Blake, he didn't have his numbers ready. So they're like, all right, get your numbers ready. We're going to come back to you. So then I go. And it's my first time ever doing anything like this. So completely like super nervous. And I was like, oh my God, what are they going to say? What are they going to do? And they, right off the bat, super fun. Like, all right, Sandy, are you ready to like be coached? And then we break down the numbers of like where we're at with the business. And they give me, all in all, we go through the business model and what we have. But they give me 2 options. One, we had way too many trainers. Just like you said, their face when we saw how many trainers we had for even at that time, 120 members. So they were like, well, you need to cut back the number of sessions, which means you need to cut back the number of trainers, which means you need to let people go. I obviously knew that wasn't going to happen because my 3 other business partners and all of them were really close friends. So I was like, all right, well, what if we keep the best? I was trying to negotiate, but it was not a negotiation thing. And they were like, all right, well, that's one. The second one is you have all the leverage. So you can really just present the model. If they don't want, then you know everything that you need to do in order to do it yourself. So you can step away. So that way you have that time that you need in order to focus on you and your business, not knowing that I was going to go online, like at that meeting. They just said, like, you can step away and do what you need to do in order to, because I still had every intention of going back to like PA school, medical school. So to do that, whatever you need to do in order to prepare and then go. So they're like, we understand that we're coaching you out of gym launch if you choose the second road. I was like, all right, perfect. So I cried in that meeting, literally just in tears, around like these 4 other gym owners that I've never met before. I've seen them like via Zoom. And then, so I went back, they said, hell no to the first option. So they're like, we'll give you a week to think about it. And I was like, well, I already made up my mind, but I'll stay the week and then train them what I need to do so that I can leave peacefully. So once I left, I pretty much always, I went into the online space right away. So I was like, all right, I already know everything that I need to do. I've been doing it for the last year. So, all right, almost year. Why not just take those things online, make revenue that way? So then that way I can like prep for PA school, med school applications, things like that. But then when I started, so still did 3 6 weeks for like ads. And then it took off pretty well. So like the first month or the first 2 weeks, signed up my first couple clients, made a couple $1,000s there. And that's pretty much all profit because I had everything else. The only thing I was really spending was ads. So made profit there and was able to scale that. The only thing was like that I really had to figure out for the first 8-12 weeks was like member retention and like the touch points and stick points for them. And then kind of was a little rocky, but got that through. And then after that, I was like, all right, this is profitable. I can see myself like doing this. I saw more of an impact and more fulfillment because with 1%er, I was stressed beyond belief. I literally was like just worried nonstop of like, I need to keep the doors open. And so there was, even though it was fun and joyful and like it was cool, it wasn't like this. So it was like I can actually see like the impact that I'm making in these people's lives, and I know that I have an influence. Whereas like over there, I was just nonstop numbers every single day. So I wasn't really able to focus on like the actual people part of it. Whereas like this, I had a direct correlation with that. So I was like, so I really liked it. I liked the impact. I liked the numbers. I liked the business, the profit. And then I was like, well, we're like 6 months in. And that was like November. And then I found out that this building was coming into play. So I was like, all right. And then that's where I literally had to like stop everything and take like a couple of days to reflect. And I was like, all right, what do I want to do with my life? Like, what is the impact and legacy that I want to leave? Because I can either go back into medicine and go that route, either MD, PA, but it's more leaning towards PA because it's shorter school and pay and all that stuff. So I was like, all right, if I go back and I go family, then I can still prevent. But again, they're coming to me at a time that I can't make that much of a difference and I can't keep them accountable. So that's on them. But if I go this route and I know that I'm making an impact and I saw like people were losing weight, people were getting off meds, people were way happier. And I was like, I can prevent it and then just be more reactive to it. And then just really give them the tools and resources that they need before they even get there. So I was like, all right, well, I've already done it once and I did it with 1%er. What's to stop me from doing it again? But that was my biggest limiting belief. I was like, all right, if I do this and if I take this leap, I'm the common factor if this doesn't work in both of those businesses. And so I was like, all right, well, again, like I went all in on 1%er. This was my time to go all in here. And so this is where I met a coach, which he's like my main head coach here. His name's Daryl. He's amazing. Love him. So literally me and him. And then he was still working at another facility. So the first 2 months were pretty much just me. Like he was doing the programming for the group sessions, but first 2 months was just me. Took like 3 of my online clients at the time. And then we started that in person and then we've been growing since. So now we have 80 members. Yeah, we're rocking and rolling. And this is where, I see my future. I see my life. So really just pouring into this even more.
Beautiful. How big is the facility that you're in right now?
So this facility downstairs, like the gym floor is 3,400 square feet, but the entire facility is 6,000.
Did you lease all 6,000?
Yeah.
Damn, what are you doing with the rest?
Upstairs. So
like 2,800 square foot?
Yeah. So like we're in this lobby and there's a little office and the rooms are downstairs. And then upstairs, there's a little break room, another office, and then about 900 square feet. So that's like in the future here, but that's going to be like physical therapy, massage therapy, more for the recovery aspect of it. And then the wellness. So like TRT. So it's still involving the medical side of it and like incorporating all those things because Coach Daryl was a EMT and he was looking to go into PT school, but kind of same thing happened. And then we both ended up here. So really love medicine and like that aspect of it. So we're just going to take that upstairs.
Dang. So gonna get into the concierge service for peptides, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, if you have the facility and it can be all under one roof, why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, but that's been a lot of logistics and things I had to figure out. So that'll come here soon.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. So, this name, right? Where the hell did you come up with the name? From one percenter to where you're at right now? Like, what do you revolt?
Revolution,
Like, yeah,
strength and
yeah.
conditioning.
What is a revolt on? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. So Revolution Strength and Conditioning was actually an LLC that I already had before. So like
Mhm.
when I started with 1% Athletics, so it was actually a song by The Score, and I heard it, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And so one, I really like that. But then Revolution is really just like, I feel when I think about it now, is you're just so sick and tired of being in the current state that you're in. So you choose to revolt and really just make that change. So it's like, all right, guys, like we need to just be sick and tired of where we're at and really just make the change. But what are you willing to let go of and make the change and step into? So that's kind of, and then we're the tribe. So like that's all my members. And that's like our community space. But yeah, that's kind of where it came from. And then we needed something. We couldn't do athletics because then I was too close to 1% athletics. And then fitness, there was already a Revolution Fitness or Rev Fit. So then that's where strength and conditioning came into play.
Okay. How much strength and conditioning do y'all actually do? Like, talk to me about what these group classes look like.
Yeah. So Daryl does all of the programming for all the fitness portion of it. And then he actually used to train with the Mariners as a strength conditioning coach there. He did that for a couple of years. So loved it, but just the schedule didn't really work out. So he has a passion for all sports, but we're kind of, his main emphasis is now club volleyball. So more athletic performance and functional training there. But when it comes to training, he pretty much takes a hold of all of that. And then we'll have like the group training, and that really just consists of like upper, lower, and so we have a couple different strength blocks. They come in, do dynamic stretching, all that good stuff, dynamic warm up. And then they have two different strength blocks that they go into. And then the first block, or both blocks, are going to be upper, lower, and then some type of core movement. And then we'll take them through that. Kettlebells, dumbbells, we have landmines in there, break that up. And then they end with like cardio endurance conditioning. And that'll be the last 5-10 minutes of the session.
Got it. And that's how all sessions are run?
Yep.
Kind of upper, lower, upper, or lower, upper, lower, like 2 and 1?
Yep.
You pretty much going 3 times a week?
Yep.
Okay. And so what would you say the demographic is that y'all are serving inside Revolution? Because, you could look at Cardio Bunny City, right? Orange Theory. You could look at people that want to play other professional sports but didn't make it, CrossFit. You can look at F45, which is CrossFit Light. Like, who do y'all actually serve?
Yeah. So it's really people who just want to make their lifestyle a lot easier, their day-to-day activities easier. So it's not functional training. Just because we really just want to make sure.
Time out. Define functional training.
Well, okay, let's see. So we just want to make, it's more athletic performance, I guess. So we train everyone like an athlete. Like there's no reason why no person should be training like you're not an athlete. And like you want the lean, the toned body. So why not train like one? So we'll have like, and that's where Daryl should be coming in and like speaking on this because he's super passionate about it. Where I'm like, all right, that sounds good. Like I have my personal training certificate and my nutrition certificate, but that's pretty much it. So then I have coaches like coaching me through like my programming and all that stuff. But really it's just making their lives easier on a day-to-day. So I mean it's mainly women, first off, when it comes to group training. So anywhere from 25 to 65, I believe is our oldest, but mainly in their 30s, 40s. Busy moms not really focusing on themselves and putting their health and fitness last. So they come in here, they have their hour to focus on themselves and really just take that time to make their lives easier. So like I had Vicky the other day, literally was just waiting for me as I'm talking to other people. And she's like, that's the first time I ever ran because we make them run, even though it's a little hot here. And it's like, I've never been able to do that before. Or like people being able to do lunges and like strength train. And like, I've never been able to be stable enough to do a lunge. So teaching them how to do those things. So then that way their day-to-day activities become that much easier. And they don't have to worry about going up a flight of stairs and getting hurt or picking up their kids and getting hurt. So it's really just making their day-to-day much more feasible for them.
Okay. And do y'all, and this might be something that he would know and you don't because you're not writing the programming, but do y'all program based on RPE or RAR, or do y'all have any kind of format that you use for that?
He goes off IRR. So he's been doing that, but yeah, it's more of his forte.
Okay. And the sessions, 45 minutes, hour? What are we talking?
An hour.
60 minutes. Okay.
An hour.
And okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would have to assume that you're doing nutrition very similar to how Kashi talks.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay. Okay. So meal construction, very similar to how a lot of the people in his world communicate that. And then I guess I'm curious, outside of like just, check-ins on My Accountability Plus or some other
Okay.
thing. I mean, how do you find yourself holding people accountable at your gym?
Besides trainers,
Yeah.
I mean, I do like check-ins. So if I know they're struggling with something, it's not like actual sit-down check-ins. It's like out there, like we'll just talk. So more spontaneous. So it's like, hey, I know you're struggling with the kids, or the kids are not doing well, or you were struggling with like an injury after playing like softball or volleyball. So it's like really just checking up on them that way rather than like having a scheduled meeting every single time. Because yeah, we'll have like a 3 week or 6 week or like monthly if they're in EFT. But then checking up on that way. If they're for nutrition, it's pretty much all through Trainerize. So that's all in there, either sending pictures or macros. And then, I mean, we do like the community events. So we're doing one every month. So that's where like I'll do check-ins there. So like, even though as much as I want to interact and like be in whatever event we're doing, it's really just like going around and talking to everyone and seeing how they're all doing in their own little headspace. And then I just try to like, as much as I have so much to do and I have everything time blocked, if I see like people are out there and like just talking or sitting before their session, and then I'll just go out and talk to them and see how they're doing. So just being more intentional of like their time and presence here rather than just like living everything by a schedule.
Beautiful. As a leader, as the owner, right? As the head honcho, Big Cheese, Sandy Cheeks out here, where do you feel like you personally have a character deficit that you need to fill to serve your clients better?
Okay, so this is where like I have a big thing right now where I feel like I'm not worthy of the influence that I have. And I feel like I need to step into that and actually work on myself on like personal development and those things. But also know that I have everything that I went through is for a purpose. So then that way I can really like feed into them in one way or another, whether that is fitness, nutrition, and like, I have my certs, but really just being able to be there for them. So I think character deficit is really just understanding that I can have an influence and a positive impact and be worthy of it.
Do you think there's any one situation that planted that seed in your head that you aren't worth it?
Maybe one thing, not necessarily, but I think it's been a couple of things throughout my life. No, I just think that like this can all disappear in like a day. Like you never know. Yeah, you just never know. And so it's like everything that we worked for, making sure that it influences not like my clients, but also their families.
In a positive way where they can keep moving forward?
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Now, your personal journey, your experience, your walk with fitness and nutrition. I mean, where are you at, and what do you see as being extremely difficult while running a facility, trying to show up for everyone, literally embodying the archetype of a loving mother for all of your people? Like, what struggles do you have on your own health and wellness amidst all that?
Yeah, so this is where I actually just got a coach a couple of days ago. So like I have had coaches in the past, but then I had to like take a step back and then really just focus on like growing the business. So in the last 6 months, I would say like my nutrition and actually tracking macros and then being intentional with my workouts hasn't been 100%. So like during my workout, I'd be like on my phone or doing check-ins or checking emails or things like that. So not really entirely focused on like that workout itself. Or if I would track, it'd be half-ass. So it wouldn't be like the entirety of it. So I was like, all right, well, this is something that I need to change. Because I know that I have this conversation with my members, and I was like, guys, you need to go all in and actually do those things and be intentional with those things. So this is where I got a coach, one, to keep me accountable, keep me in the loop with everything. And then that way I can be accountable to my members as well. But then that's where I work out, strength train 3 times a week. And then I'll do like some type of low intensity cardio the other 2. And then I usually be active rest days on Saturdays, take Sunday completely off. So that's kind of been my schedule for the last couple of years. But like, I really want to do like a Spartan race and like more like those things. Because I've never done one before. Like the members are all about like the little obstacle runs, like the 5Ks. So I plan on doing those with them because I've never done those before either, because I've just been so focused on everything else. So we have like a mud run, the neon like light run coming up in October and November. But fitness and nutrition wise is really just dialing it in now for the last 6 years. So even though it wasn't like top of mind for me and for myself in the last 6 months, I know that in the next 6 months, I can definitely dial it in.
Now, is that someone that you're seeing in person or online, or
online?
Someone's writing programming for you and giving you protocols, macros, etc.?
Yep.
Okay. And so far, what have you been on that? A couple weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks? How long you been in?
I haven't even started yet.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
so we need to check back in another 6 weeks and see where you're at.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I'm going to start on Monday.
Beautiful. Where, I mean, on this journey, right? There's a ton of things that are going on, right? Personal development, business development, you pouring into people's lives, some things in your own life getting thrown to the back. I know, me too, right? Yep. Where do you think like in the business where you're at currently is the biggest opportunity for growth for you, for your team, for you as a leader, and for the gym overall?
So I try to find things that myself and my coaches are really passionate about, because I think when you're more passionate about something, then you truly flourish and put more time and effort into it. So like for me and like my group people, and it's primarily weight loss and like getting them on the right like lifestyle change. So I think that really fuels my fire and I can get that going. For my coaches, it's more semi-private training there. So with that, like they love their volleyball club teams, like basketball club teams, things like that. So they thrive in like the athletic performance. So I think getting more of those club teams that are now going to be off of like the club season going into the school season, getting them in here. Because we have a couple networking like people that we can touch base with. So then hopefully in this next coming up 6 months, we can really get them in the door and then get them into team athletic training, semi-private training, things like that. So that's where we really want to head into that, but also just upstairs with like the physical therapy, massage therapy, TRT, like all of those things. So I think there's a couple different ways that we can move into for the next 6 months in regards to like the programming and like all those things for both sides, whether it's the medical or the semi-private, but it just depends on what we're focusing on, just to making sure that we're set. So the group training will pay our bills, making sure that we're good there. But then everything else is making sure that that's just icing on the cake.
Got it. So it seems like there's a lot of opportunities, not only for your coaches to be able to make more money, to be able to impact more lives, but the gym in general to bring in new underserved populations, and then also for everyone to enjoy going and doing things together.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay. And as business owners, we're always learning, right? You're learning every day. Like you learn about this, you learn about that. You learn what this acronym means. A year and a half ago, I didn't know what EFT meant, right? Electronic fund transfer. That is just a membership, guys. That's just a direct pull. That's all that is. I forgot to say that earlier.
Oh, yeah, the acronym. Sorry.
Yeah. All good. But with all of this learning, what do you think the biggest lesson is that you've learned since you've been the sole owner of this facility?
Biggest lesson is really just sticking to it like day in and day out. There's going to be hard days, there's going to be good days, there's going to be amazing days. But then really when you're down in the dumps, like what's going to get you through? Because not every day is going to be perfect. Not every day is going to be the best day of your life. But one, like I literally wake up and say, it's a beautiful day to save lives every single day. Like that is mine. I don't have like a crazy morning routine or like this extravagant thing that I'm doing every single day just to get started. But it's really just getting up and being like, all right, it's a beautiful day to save lives. And whatever happens that day, like it's a good day. The next day will be another opportunity. So really just staying consistent with it, and knowing like this is what I'm gonna be doing. So I better love every single part of it.
Okay, being fully present and fully aware there. Um, I guess I'm the last question here, and then we have a little rapid fire. Um,
Oh, okay.
we have a little rapid fire on some things in gym myths, et cetera, et cetera. Should be interesting. But with your
All right.
pursuit of lifetime impact to these
Yeah.
individuals that you have the privilege and the pleasure of working with, how do you see the priorities being lined up in your life with business, personal, romance? I know that that's been something, not only just in your life, but in a lot of our lives, like that gets thrown to the
Yeah.
back, right? More than anything.
Oh, yeah.
Where do you see those priorities moving, shifting, changing from where you're at right now?
And I think they're constantly moving and shifting and changing. So I don't think as much as I want to, I want to entirely focus on like, all right, my personal life at this time. And it's like, nope, well, got to take care of the business, making sure that this is okay. Because ultimately this is going to fund my personal life. So it's like, all right, I got to make sure that this is okay. And if I work my ass off now and I can set this off right now, then the rest of my life will be good. And I don't have to worry about those things. But that's where before in June, 6 months prior to that, I was actively dating, like on Bumble, going out on dates, meeting these guys, and like actively pursuing a dating life. And I have never done that before. And I was like, all right, this is weird. But it was cool. It was a good experience. But then I was like, it's taking up way too much of my time, and it's more emotionally draining than I thought. So it's like trying to grow a business at the same time, meeting these guys, and all the conversations that have to happen with that. So I was like, all right, well, I need to focus on one thing. So it's like, all right, I need to go all in on this one more time. So like I haven't been dating the last couple months here. But then with that, it's like, I know it's something that I want. So it's like trying to find that fine line of like what I'm focusing my energy on. And then also if it's just going to come to me, like if love comes, then I'm not going to stop it. But is it really just going to fall into my lap type thing? But then at the same time, it's like, all right, if I'm not actively dating, I have to like really focus on the things so right now, business is top priority. Then like dating, I'll get there. Because then I'll want to start a family and then have like everything else after that. So right now, business. But if it does fall on my lap, I'm not going to stop it. But actively dating right now, not so much. So it's really just finding that balance between it all, but it's just an ebb and flow type thing, and seeing like where I'm at and where I need to really put my focus in.
Yeah, I brought that question up not only from conversations that I'm not going to delve into details that you and I have had, but also I came across Kale's clip again, and I was cracking up by the answer. I was cracking up by the answer, and I was like, I got to ask her about this. I have to. He made a nice qualifier there at the end. To go on dates, to spend time with.
I know.
That was
volume of conversation.
Right.
I get it. Yeah. So it's been difficult, not gonna lie. But it's something that I want, but it's not something I'm gonna force.
Fair enough.
So right now, just focusing on the business, doing my thing, and then we'll see.
Fair enough. So a little fast-paced, a little bit more of a fast-paced little section here before we sign off. I know we got 10 minutes left. Little this or that, right? Think overrated, underrated, but just a little this or that. Okay, I'm going to present you with two things, right? Not too many questions, but two things, and you're going to say one or the other, and I might ask for some clarification on why, but maybe not. We shall see. So, first one, right?
All right.
This or that, potatoes, sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
No.
Why?
Because it's not. No, it's pepperoni or sausage. That's it.
Pepperoni or sausage.
That's
Are you
all
serious? Oh my goodness. Bulgarian split squats?
Mainly pepperoni.
No, canceled. Bulgarian split squats?
No.
Canceled. Bulgarian split squats or front rack reverse lunges?
Bulgarians. Not. I'm not doing.
Not a lunger?
No, no, no.
Okay. Front squat or back squat?
Ooh, back.
Clean and press or snatch?
Press.
Pull-ups or push-ups?
Ooh, push-ups.
Why?
Because I can do more of them.
Because they're easier.
Yeah.
Leg lifts or reverse crunches?
Ooh, leg lifts.
Why?
I feel like I'm a kid again.
Wow. Squats or hip thrusts?
Ooh, hip thrust.
Chocolate chip or actually chocolate or cookies and cream?
Like Prestige Labs protein?
Or any protein. Any ice cream, any creamy, any of that.
Anything? Cookies and cream.
Kettlebell, dumbbell?
Dumbbell.
Why? Dumbbell? Are you serious?
I saw your movements with the kettlebell. I can't.
Oh
do that.
my goodness!
I can't do that with the kettlebell. I was like, that's cool.
You don't have to do all that with a kettlebell to like kettlebells. Are you serious? Dumbbell over kettlebell?
I like kettlebells.
Oh my goodness!
Kettlebells are cool.
Smith machine or free weight?
Free weight.
Why?
I like it more. Smith machine. I do machine. I have more freedom with my free weights.
Interesting. Sissy squats or pistols?
Ooh, pistols.
Obviously, those are not for the same thing, but just curious.
Yeah, you got to clarify for
pistols.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Why do you like pistols? I hate pistols. They're the worst.
Right. It's a love-hate relationship.
They're disgusting. I'd rather do Bulgarian split squats for hours.
Yeah.
I'd rather do that all day before I ever sit down in a pistol squat. Period.
End of story. That's it.
That completely. Cardio implements. Are you more of a, like, I'm talking assault bike or echo bike, right? Interchangeable there. So an Aerodyne, something with a like Schwinn, anything. One of those or a rower?
Ooh, no, air bike.
Air bike. Is it because of your legs? Because I love the air bike and don't love the rower. And it's because of my quads, period, end of story. Love that thing.
Yeah.
So air bike over rower. All right, air bike versus ski erg. Do you have those?
No, we don't have them, but I've done that a couple times. So
overly expensive. They're overly expensive, but they're fun, but overly expensive.
Okay. I've done a couple times. So
dips or skull crushers?
Ooh, dips.
Why? Dips?
Because it's the coolest thing. I was like, I can do a dip.
Yeah, you get some chest stretch on the dips too, where you don't get that on the skull crushers. Well, cool. That is all that I had there for this or that at the end. I really appreciate you making the time for this. Where can the people find you? How can they get in touch with you? How can they be in and around your team and what you got going on? Floor is yours.
All right. So Instagram is Belmontez14 for personal, and then Rev Strength LLC for the business. But yeah, Sandy Belmontez, Facebook. And then that's pretty much it.
And your website is?
Revolution. Yeah, I don't even know my website name.
Oh, God. Let me see. I can pull it back up.
It's Revolution SC. Something like that.
RevolutionSCLLC.com. RevolutionSCLLC.com.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I mean, you have solid videos.
All the domains.
Yeah, you got solid photos up here. You got videos up here. You got full breakdowns of everything. You got a ton of stuff on here. We'll link everything too in the bio, and we should be good to go. Oh, last thing before we jump though, before I stop the recording, can people train with your team online?
Yes, they can. Yeah, so we still have online, and that is still a super important part of our business. But we also have in-person and hybrid. So we got it all. Okay. Whatever you guys need.
So if someone's not in your city, though, they can still hit you up and see about working with you?
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, hold on one second. I'm going to stop the recording. Thank you for everyone that came and gave us your attention, and we'll see you next time.